All right, good afternoon, everyone. We're gonna go ahead and start. I hereby call this meeting to order at 1:15. Can I get a second? Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Lena Baza. I'm the SGA speaker, and I welcome all students and faculty today. Thank you for coming. This meeting is for you, so please don't hesitate to voice any concerns or questions you may have. Our upcoming presentations are especially of high importance to students, so please pay attention. And if you have any questions for them, go ahead and ask. I'm going to go over the agenda briefly so you guys know what to expect. So first, we will be having a presentation by the Executive Board Report by Brian Trevinos. Next, we will be having the Guided Pathways Information Session by Dr. Dawn Norman. After that is the PCC Foundation Scholarship Information Session, followed by the Senate Committee reports, and then the floor is open for all student body questions and concerns. So we're going to go ahead and start. Brian Trevinos will be presenting a PowerPoint for you guys about the SGA report, and I would like to welcome Brian Trevinos to the podium. Pull this up.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for having me. I'm Brian Trevinos. I'm the SGA president. I'm going to just do a short presentation on what we've been working on. Okay, so I am here to present onto student reminders. So first up, I just would like to remind all students about all the active clubs we have on campus. We have about 22 active clubs, ranging from the astronomy, from LGBTQ, music club, dance club, and many others. These clubs are always open to students who want to join. There's no sort of restrictions. They're very welcoming, and they do a lot on campus. So if you have any questions on how to reach out to them, just feel free to ask me at the end of this meeting, and I'll be more than happy to give you their email and or contact information. Next up is, if you haven't seen the club that you wanted to join up there, there's always the opportunity of starting a club. Now, for a club to start, it could be a club or organization as long as you have 10 or more members that are committed into being in the club. And out of those 10 members, you have a full executive board, which means you have a president, VP, treasurer, secretary, and and having a committed team. Because if you don't have a team, then unfortunately, you can't really be a club if you don't have a full 10 members. Along with that, you would have to have a PCCC faculty member be the advisor of the club. These could be your professors. Mainly, all our clubs advisors are the professors of that dedicated degree. So, for example, the chairman for engineering is the Professor Gambino. So it could be related to the club, or it doesn't have to. As long as you have an advisor to be as long as you have a faculty member to be the advisor, then you're fine. Also, along with that, you would be able to present your club into the monthly Caf Meetings, which is the club activity and finance meetings that we hold every first Friday of every month. We usually hold 3 of these meetings each semester, and it'll give you a chance to present along with your e-board in the meetings, just to explain what your purpose and your role is within campus. And the meeting will be run by myself and, well, usually it's the VP and the treasurer along with the SPC chairman and co-chairman, along with the executive presidents and treasurers of each club. So it'll be a really great opportunity for you to present, and if once you're done presenting, we will vote you in whether or not to have you become an organization or a club. So if you have any other questions about how to start a club, or what's like the paperwork and all the smaller stuff, please feel free to ask me anything towards the end if you have any more questions about that. I would like to move on to graduation reminders. Those who are graduating this semester 2019, please keep in mind you have to take your CWE, because if you don't, then you aren't going to graduate with your degree. Please, if you haven't already, I would really strongly recommend scheduling to take your CWE if you haven't already. If you have any questions, you can always contact the testing center. They're the ones that schedule everything. You could do an appointment, or you could do a drop-in. So please have that in your head. Next up would be you must meet with your degree chairman to fill out the graduation form. Yes, there is a graduation form to fill out. Many students don't know this, but it is a vital piece that you have to fill out, because if you don't fill it out, again, you can't technically graduate from here if you don't fill that out. You could get that in the registrar's office or in your chairperson's office. You usually have a couple. Also, a very important thing that many students forget is notify registrars that you're graduating, because they need to know whether or not you're going to graduate from here, because they also have all your records. So please make sure you stop by and registrars and notify them that you're graduating. Next up is the graduation dinner dance, which is May 16th. If you have any questions about that, please email OSA, and we'll be happy to answer your questions. Along with that is the graduation commencement, which is May 23rd. Again, if you have any questions, email OSA. And that's all I have for now. I'll be open to any questions right now if students have any. Please feel free. Yes. Yeah, as long if you that would be something I would ask your chairman, because I'm not 100% sure. I would go to your chairman for sure. Yes? Okay, perfect. Then yeah, there you go. Right. Yeah. So just make sure you do that as soon as possible. But I hope that answers questions. Any other question? Yes.
Can you just clarify what you meant by drop-in with the CWE?
Okay, so to take your CWE, you could do a drop-in, which means you could, if I would want to take my CWE right now, I could technically just go in and request taking it right now. But that's what I mean by drop-in. You could drop in by a testing center, ask, hey, I would like to take my CWE. As long as you have taken one writing intensive course, you're able to take your CWE, and as long as you have taken, I think, Comp to 1, they'll let you take it. Right, right, right. The full time to, mhm. Right. Also, just keep in mind that you please bring your student ID along with you too, because they do request to see your ID. And just make sure that you have, if you're going to do a drop-in again, 3 hours in advance, so you have the full time to take the exam. Yes.
Graduation. What a lot of people don't know is that the graduation commencement is 2 times,
Mm-hmm.
and so I'm wondering how would you be able to find out where your major, like I know it goes by the associates that you're
Right.
receiving.
Uh-huh.
So how do you find out what time you're supposed to be attending your graduation?
I don't have the times right now. Oh, go ahead, sir.
Packet. And so for the students that are graduating, you do receive a packet in the mail with all the information about the graduation, which session you are attending, also where to pick up your cap and gown. And in that packet also mentions the graduation dinner dance too in the flyer.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Thank you. Any other questions? Yes.
How would someone find out who's their chairperson?
You can find that online on the PCCCC website, and or you could, yeah, that would be the most vital source. Just go on the website. If you type in your degree major, your chairman should pop up once you search them up. Yeah, there you go. No, you're fine. Thank you so much. Any other questions? No? All right. Well, thank you all very much for having me. I would like to welcome Dr. Norman to the podium, our guest speaker on the guided pathways.
Thank you. And I just want to thank the SGA for having me. I often speak to colleagues and administrators, counselors, and faculty members here, but I'm never as excited as I am when I'm speaking to students. So thank you. I want to talk a little bit about guided pathways. And before I start, I want to ask you, how many of you have heard of guided pathways? Okay, so maybe about half of you have. So that's good. I'm Dr. Dawn Norman, and I am the co-lead along with Nancy Silvestro, who's an ESL faculty member. We co-lead Guided Pathways together. Give me a second, I don't have my glasses on. And this is
Go to
very
slideshow.
small here. Okay, I see it. I'm sorry. There you go. So Guided Pathways is a initiative. It's a national initiative, and Guided Pathways is intended to improve support services at community colleges. So this is the textbook definition of Guided Pathways, but in short, Guided Pathways is aimed toward reevaluating our services and redesigning our services at the community college to improve ourselves for the advancement of student completion and retention rates. So it's institutional redesign. So maybe you've seen some things going on. Maybe you've seen the change in advising, the change in the registration process, the introduction of things like the student planning module. How many of you have used the student planning module? Oh, I wish I saw more hands than that. But hopefully after today, I will. So the student planning module is an advising tool that we use to help you register for courses and to search your courses and to look at your degree audit and things like that. But it really is a guide for students. So all these things I've mentioned have been introduced to the institution under Guided Pathways. But just remember one thing, Guided Pathways is institutional redesign. So a lot of different things that you see happening here at Passaic County Community College is done through Guided Pathways, but you may not hear it called Guided Pathways. You may just hear it called change in registration. And feel free to interject if you have any questions as we move along. So pathways refer to broad categories of majors, and you may have heard them called meta majors at some schools. And meta majors or categories of majors would be where we have categorized our different majors into larger groupings. And I'll tell you what those groupings are as we move along. Guided Pathways has 4 pillars. So there are really 4 principles of Guided Pathways that aim to help you complete your journey here at PCC. And that is to clarify the path for students, help students enter the path, help students stay on the path, and ensure learning. Clarifying the path starts at the beginning when a student is first interested in the college. So even before you become a student, we want to make sure that we're providing you with information that lets you know what's expected of you and how you can get through your journey at PCC and introduce you to the support services and really give you clear maps to success here. That starts even before you become a student. So even at open houses, even in advertisements, we think about how can we clarify the path for students. And then helping students enter the path, that happens once you become a student here, once you've completed your application, taken your placement test, gone to the Center for Student Success, and enrolled in your courses. That's where we want to help you enter the path, getting you in that college success class, which many of you have already taken. And then staying on the path is when we are there to support you. And supporting you starts before you even become a student until the time you've left here and even beyond that. So we still have alumni activities and we have career activities where we are still supporting our former students in staying on their path throughout their time and beyond their time at PCC. And ensuring learning has to do with the curriculum, faculty developing curriculum, and setting these pathways that ensure not only that you're learning in the classroom, but that we're providing a holistic learning experience for you even outside of the classroom. Any questions so far? Okay. So Guided Pathways is a national initiative, but we have customized Guided Pathways for our students here at PCC because you're special, right? So we didn't want to just take a cookie cutter initiative and plan it here and put things in effect without considering what our students really need. And that's what we've done. So we have different structures and support services that we feel would help our students graduate. It's a 5-year initiative. It is not something that we've done and we're going to be finished with. There's a planning stage, there's an implementation stage, and right now we are in the stage of implementing some of the initiatives, some of the parts of the initiative. And it involves the entire PCC family. So it's not just faculty, it's not just administrators and counselors. Everyone here at PCC is involved in Guided Pathways. And when I say everyone, you guys are the most important part of Guided Pathways. So these are the pathways, and our majors have been grouped into 7 pathways. So we have STEM, and the pathways are color-coded. That STEM is like a dark green, but it's not really showing up on the screen. But the STEM pathway is green. Education and Public Safety Studies is blue. Business and Culinary Arts, gold. Humanities, Media Studies and Performing Arts, red. Social and Behavioral Sciences and Human Services, orange. Health Science, American Sign Language, purple. And then our newest pathway, 7 pathways we have now. We had 6, but we just added our newest one, Technical Studies. Any questions? Do you see your pathway here? Okay, good. So you're also going to start seeing more indicators of pathways. So you'll start seeing color-coordinated and color-coded pathway events, and the flyers will come out with colors on it. And you'll know that when you see blue, that represents the education and public safety pathway. We're also looking into getting colored lanyards for your ID, where you can see somebody who's in your pathway and you can say, oh, you know, are you an education or public safety studies major? So we want to help build a sense of community within the pathway. How's that sound? Good, good. That's what we want. And we want your input, right? So that's why I want you to even comment, ask me questions. We cannot do this without your input. We have students who are at the table. We talk to students. We have a PTK student who's at the meeting every week. We have a meeting, and that PTK student has input, and we value student input. And then the Academic Success Center is here for students who are, well, any student, but primarily when it comes to registration, the Academic Success Center is here for students who are returning students. So these students have either completed college success or are in the college success course. These students will come to the Success Center, which is the tutoring and testing area, and here the students will register for their courses or get any help needed. And I'm going to talk to you about some more of the help that goes on at the Success Center in a minute. But in terms of registration, registration is now actively going on for students who are in college success or have completed college success in the Academic Success Center. But for students who are new students, that registration is going on in the Center for Student Success. So these returning students will be put on a pathway, and points of connection are a part of Guided Pathways that are probably the most interesting because this is where the support comes in. Points of connection are points that we have identified where we want to connect with students. That point of connection may be an email, it may be a office visit that we request of you, it may be you meeting with your chairperson to talk about graduation. That is a point of connection. So a point of connection could be something that we solicit to get you in, or it could be something that you reach out to us and say you need. Faculty advisement, guidance, and support. We've redesigned faculty advisement, so you would be hearing from faculty members asking you to come in and meet with them once you get over a certain amount of credits. And then additional support services. We are always aiming to improve our support services within the classroom and outside of the classroom. So please make sure you're taking advantage of the tutoring area. My office is located in the tutoring area, and I've seen a lot of you over there, so I'm really happy about that. But we want to see you more. We want to see you over there before the problems come in the classes. We want you over there. You can come over there anytime and just sit and talk to somebody and make sure you're on the right track, even if you're doing well in your classes. Peter Hines, the Associate Dean of Student Support Services, is the lead over in the tutoring and testing area. I'm the coordinator of Guided Pathways Advisement, and then we have pathway coordinators and pathway navigators. And I'm going to introduce you to the navigators in a minute. And then advisement and registration, you should know, we did talk about new students, but at this point, the process for new students registering is a little different than for continuing students. So most of you are continuing students, all of you are continuing students, I would assume. So we don't really need to go into detail about new students, but new students register in the center for student success. Any questions? Yes, I'll go here and then I'll come over here. Thank you.
Coordinator, the pathways are color coordinated, but what if someone has a undecided major? What would their ID look like?
That is a wonderful question. And that is a question that we work every day to make sure that we are providing the right services towards students who are undecided. So right now, what we're doing with undecided students, when students come in, we look at students individually. If students are undecided, we really want to talk to students and find out what is it that they're thinking, right? What we've done with the pathways, we've tried to design the pathways as best as we can so that if a student goes into a pathway and they switch majors within the pathway, they won't lose credits after the first semester, right? Now, if you come into the pathway, let's say education and public safety studies, if you switch from one major to the next and you've taken an introductory course in that major, let's say Intro to Criminal Justice, and you change to education, you won't need those criminal justice credits. But if you are not sure in the beginning, what we want to do is give you courses that you would need for either of those majors. Now, most of our students do come in at the developmental level, so most first semester classes will consist of your DE 20 or your 025, and we can give a student a full-time schedule without giving them any classes that they won't need in any major. So that's what we do for undecided students, right? Does that make sense? Good, good. And so what happens is if they are at college level, we would give them a schedule, maybe something like psychology, their Comp 1, courses that they would need in any of those majors. But we have really increased career advising so that before the student comes out of that college success course, they have more information to choose a major. So that is really something that we work every day at trying to make better. And we've done a great job at it by designing these schedules for our entering students, whether they're developmental or college level, schedules that they can take these classes and need these classes for any major that they choose. Now, by the second semester, we really have to get on choosing a major because that's when the courses get much more specific, right? Good. And there was another question, Lee.
Is your department chairman the same person as your pathway advisor? Or are they two different people?
Another good question. They are two different people. So we have pathway coordinators, right? So the pathway coordinator works with your department chairperson to provide whatever services the student might need, right? So you may get an email from your department chairperson if you're a psych major. That would be Professor Mosley. Professor Mosley, you may get an email from him saying, you know, come in for your advising. If you don't come in, then Professor Mosley will contact the navigators over at the center, and then the navigators can follow up with you and say, hey, Professor Mosley reached out, would you like to come in, and how can we help assist you and get you in? We see that you're about to graduate, and we'd like to help you along that path. Right? So you have your department chairperson, you have your pathway coordinator, and then we have pathway navigators who work with all students, no matter what pathway you're in, to help troubleshoot different issues you may have. Right? Any other questions? Great questions, guys. So faculty have developed program maps. These maps are located in your student planning module. If you look on your on the link that says My Progress, you will find your program map. And that's your degree audit, but it's all in sync. We talked about points of connection. The student planning module, very important. If you need help with the student planning module, all you have to do is come on over to the tutoring and testing area. We are here and happy to help. We are working to enhance support services for students who have specific needs, and we want to be more holistic in our advising. So students who are food insecure, students who are in the LGBTQ community, formerly incarcerated students, men of color. So these are different groups of students that we really want to improve and provide holistic support for to help students along their journey. And then just so that you know, it is said that any initiative or any institutional change really comes in 3 stages. So you have structural change. Structural change speaks to when you see maybe people's offices might move. Maybe Dr. Norman was here today and now she's in the center. It just means that there's been some structural change at the institution. And then there's process change, where people's jobs may change. And maybe Dr. Norman was doing advising, and now she's doing advising and, I don't know, serving sandwiches in the cafeteria, whatever that might look like, right? But it could just mean that there's a change in the process of how I'm doing my job and how other people are doing their job. We really want to take on being able to do different jobs because, as you know, students have a lot of needs, and sometimes you can't have a person to satisfy every need. We all have to kind of learn what it is we can all do to work together to help students, and sometimes that requires multitasking. And then the change in attitude, attitudinal change, hopefully comes with all the previous changes, that people look forward to doing their job and look forward to doing it better. So we're working on a lot of different things, including customer service training. So you'll hopefully see different approaches to dealing with conflict, and you'll see a lot of smiles and things like that around here, right? Hopefully you see that already, but we hope that you see even more of that. And then organizational culture eats strategy for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So organizational change comes with changing the culture of an institution. And we're really trying to change the culture, as most institutions do, when they see that there's something you can do a little better. So we're trying to make it a cultural shift. And the student planning module has helped, because I don't know if any of you remember when you used to come in to register and you sit in front of a advisor and they do the registration for you. Now you come in, if you come to the success area, the navigators or myself, we sit with you, you do the registration, and we guide you through it. So the point is to empower the students to register themselves with our guidance. Because when you go to the 4-year school, there's a lot less support. And I know that Saray can vouch for that, right? There's a lot less support, and we want to make sure that we're preparing you to be more self-sufficient when you leave here, right? So with that, I am going to introduce the navigators. We have Ms. Colleen, Ms. Serena, and Mr. Jesus, and they are here. Stand up, guys, so they can just see who you are. Thank you so much. So these are the navigators, and the navigators are here to help you with anything you need. They have some flyers to hand out, and I'm going to take questions in a minute, but I just want to, I'm going to show you the flyer here. This is the flyer that they'll be handing out. So, yes, you got this in an email, right? Okay, good. So the navigators are here to assist you with understanding your degree requirements, academic planning, navigating the student portal, Blackboard, identifying resources on campus, information about majors and pathways, communicating with your department chair, and just any other questions that may come up. Come over, call, or email. There's someone there to help you. You should never be walking around as a student wondering what your next move is. We are here to help you figure it out. And if we can't figure it out, we will point you in a direction and walk you over to somebody who can. Any questions? Sure, no questions? With that, I'm going to take my seat, and I thank you once again for having me.
Thank you, Dr. Norman, for that incredibly informative speech. Next, I'd like to introduce a presentation about scholarships, which may be very, very important to you all. Please help me welcome Meredith.
Hi, everyone. My name is Meredith Behrens. I work in the Office of Institutional Advancement here at the college. I want to thank you, like Dr. Norman had said, for allowing me to come here today. Usually I'm in my office, at my desk, at my computer, and being able to talk to students about what I do and the work that we're doing in the foundation is just something that I really love and I really enjoy. I'm very passionate about our work in the foundation. I don't know how many of you know about the foundation or have heard of us, but the Passaic County Community College Foundation has one purpose, and that is to raise funds for student scholarship. So how many of you need money, right? I know like I do, okay, right? So that's a common thing. And so let me just pull up here. Okay, so in the foundation, we raise money for student scholarships. We have our general fundraising that we do, which is, I don't know if any of you have seen the monitors about the gala we have coming up, which is our huge fundraiser of the year. We also have a 5K that we do in collaboration with PTK up at Wanacue, and we have a golf outing. And those events, along with the general donations that we receive throughout the year, that kind of allows us to provide like general college scholarships to students. We award approximately $700,000 a year. So that's like a nice amount of money that we're able to provide back and give back to students for things not just like tuition and fees, but books and other educational expenses. So our goal in the foundation is to help all of you, right? Because even though the cost of Passaic County Community College may be more affordable than some other options for you, it still comes at an expense, and it's often an expense that's like hard to meet. So that's our goal, is to try to help you in achieving your college education. I don't know if any of you have seen maybe you've received a college scholarship fund. It's like CSF, it shows up, right? Okay, I see some heads shaking. So if I can just have a moment to share with you that when you go to current students, click on financial aid, and we're in the process of pulling this up a little bit more under forms, and you scroll all the way down, you'll see how it says College Scholarship Fund, CSF. So this paper right here, you don't have to complete it to receive college scholarship funds, okay? They are awarded by the financial aid office for need as on an as-needed basis. However, if you feel like you need them, you can start that conversation with financial aid, and this is the way to do it. You can print out this form. They're available in different offices at campus. You can always contact us in the foundation. We'll supply it as well, but this form will allow you to kind of start that conversation with financial aid. You print it out, you give it to the financial aid officer, and it gets everything going. What's great about the College Scholarship Fund is that the monies can be used for summer, right? Oftentimes you hear about financial aid funding for fall or for spring, and what's great with College Scholarship Funds is that they're also available. So if you're interested in taking a summer term and you need some additional help to do that, this is definitely a place to look at. So that was one kind of brief piece of what I had wanted to share today. But I also want to talk about our named scholarship program, which is going on right now. Again, under the current students tab, if you click on scholarship opportunities, it takes you to a live guide that we created that outlines some instructions. The named scholarship program is based upon scholarships that were created by a donor, and they have a particular set of criteria along with them. So maybe a donor came to us and said, I want to create a scholarship, and I want it to be for a human services major, and I want that individual to have at least a 3.0 GPA, and I want that student to be involved in something on campus, or we have a scholarship maybe for students who are parents. So we have a wide range of scholarship opportunities here that were created by donors, and it goes along with this application process. So what that allows is that for you as a student, you complete the application, and then what will happen is the system that we use kind of puts you into the right pile for the scholarship that you qualify for. In the past, I don't know if any of you remember, you had to like check off what scholarship that you were applying for. And that was like challenging sometimes to identify, right? Oh, do I qualify for this scholarship or that? So what we've tried to do is like take that process out and make it easier for students by saying you just have to answer a bunch of yes or no questions. Answer if you are a parent. Answer if you are a resident of Passaic County. So it's a lot of like yes or no questions, all with the purpose of then allowing us in the foundation and the Student Development Committee, the committee that reviews the applications, it allows us then to look at the students who qualify for a certain applicant. So what we've done in the foundation is we have this live guide. It has some general information. Again, it's pccc.liveguides.com/scholarships, and it goes through everything about the scholarships there for fall 2019 and spring 2020. They're not transferable anyplace else or for like future semesters, so they're really specific to like this upcoming academic year. And the link for this is listed right here. So you would create a username, you have your email and a password, and then you go through like the application. Again, we do have a list of scholarships here. If you're interested in seeing what we have, as you can tell, we've tried to create like something for everyone, okay? So that you don't really feel like that there's nothing for you. A lot of times we say to students, you have to be in it to win it, right? So there's no harm done with like putting your name forward in completing a scholarship, right? How can you know if you qualify? How can you know if you'll maybe have that chance of like receiving funding if you don't try to put your name out there? So we do have the information about the scholarships here, but again, once you complete that application, once you go to, sign in, register, and complete the application, then we'll take care of like figuring out like which scholarships you apply for based upon your responses. The application consists of a bunch of questions you're answering. There's like a little short statement that we ask you to give about why you need the money. Okay, maybe if there's any special circumstances, maybe getting a scholarship would help you to not work as much, right? And you can spend more time on your studies. So there's like a little place for you to kind of give us some information about why you need the scholarship. And then we also ask for 2 letters of recommendation. And those 2 letters of recommendation, again, are done through the application. You put the person's name in of who you want to send who you want to get your letter of recommendation from. And they can go ahead, they'll get an email, they'll upload it. It makes it nice and easy, so you don't have to try to like go to someone's office and collect it. It's all done through the system. What I will let you know is that 1 letter of recommendation is from a PCCC faculty or staff member, and then another one can be from another faculty or staff member, or it could also be from an employer. And the foundation recently made that change based on feedback from students, that a lot of our students were saying, oh, I work and I have this employer who I've been with for 5 years and they really know me and they can speak very well about me. So that is part of the application as well. The deadline for scholarships for the named scholarship program is next week. It's April 24th. But again, we've tried to really create a very simple application, so there's still time. So for those of you who haven't, even started it, I would say there's still time to do that, and you can still do that. The email address, again, is on, let's see, here we go. If you have any questions about the scholarships or anything like that, you can email. We have an email address right here, scholarships@pccc.edu. I'm usually, the one to answer, or one of my other colleagues in student affairs, but, we're happy to answer any questions you may have. So I would encourage all of you, if you haven't done so already, consider applying. If you have started an application but haven't completed it, do so. Like, now is the time. And if you have already applied, thank you for participating in this program. Again, you have to be, in it to win it. We're really excited about the scholarships that we're offering. And every year we look forward to increase that number. And the way that I can do that as a foundation staff member is when I see all of these applications come in, because then I go to my donors and I say, oh my gosh, we have the need, right? We got applications from 30 education majors, and we really need more funding. There's such a need there. So by putting your application in, you allow me to have more effective conversations with people and try to bring more money into the named scholarship the named scholarship program. I'll leave all of you with this as well. For those of you who may be graduating, I know there were some questions that came up about graduation. We are not the only school that has a foundation. So I'm constantly telling students, right, the scholarships that we have here through the PCCC Foundation are for studies here. However, you know, if you go to William Patterson, if you go to Montclair, Rutgers, you name it, those four-year institutions have foundations as well, okay? Go on their website, search for it, you'll find it, and you will see scholarships that they also offer at their institution. So for those of you who are moving on, maybe you didn't have a chance to participate in our scholarship program here, hopefully now after, you know, I've shared some of this with you, though you have some information so you can go on and get funding at your next place after here. So thank you for allowing me to speak. Are there any questions that I can answer? No? All right. And good luck to all of you. We wish you the best with your studies. All right.
Thank you so much, Meredith. That was very, very helpful. Now I would like to talk about elections real quick. The last day to vote is today, so I'm just going to show you really quick how to cast your vote if you have not done so already. Once you go on, there we go. Once you go on your portal, before you even log in, it's going, why isn't it showing it? Okay, I guess you cannot vote anymore. Thank you, guys. Let me see. Yeah, it's not on here. But now I would like to open the floor for any questions you guys have about anything that was discussed before, or any concerns at all. Okay, no questions? All right, then I would like to introduce Michelle Ramos to talk about the Student Programming Committee and the Awards Committee.
Okay. Hello, everybody. I am the co-chair for the Student Programming Committee. The Student Programming Committee is a group of students that come together and they execute and plan events in all 3 campuses. As of now, we have 13 active members. We also have our meetings every Friday, 1 to 2 in our Office of Student Activities. So if you guys would like to be involved, you can come tomorrow, or for the following semester, I think we'll change it. But you can come tomorrow, our meetings. We're all planning already for the next semester, the events. As of now, we already planned the summer trips and graduate activities. As Brian said earlier, we do have graduation ceremony, graduation dance, and other graduation trips as well. May 7th is our final event for the semester. We'll be having the de-stress event. May 7th, I believe it would be in the Patterson room, not sure, but you guys, I think it's going to be something with dancing. So you guys are interested of going, please go. I am also the chair of the awards committee. So the awards committee will be in May. This is for graduates. This is for clubs and athletes. So what we do in the committee, we plan the ceremony, and we started having our meetings in November. We have 4 members, me including is 5, and every now and then we have the president, which is Brian Trevinos, and the secretary, Kelvin, who come in, and this year our theme will be dedicated to the SGA history. And that is all for my report. Thank you.
Thank you, Michelle. And last but not least, we will be having Delvin Ortega presenting about Guided Pathways Committee.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Delvin Ortega, and I'm the chairman for the Guided Pathways Committee. The Guided Pathways Committee is new within the SGA, same as the Guided Pathway program is new to PCCC. Our goal is to focus on getting an idea of the state of the academics of the student population within the school, and making sure that the students use find and use the resources given by the school. We also help out with any issues that the SGA might have. For example, we heard concerns from the students about overlapping single section classes, so we've looked into that. And in response, we've worked with the SGA board to make sure that these concerns are resolved. As I said, the committee is relatively new. We're still finding our place within the SGA, and going forward, we hope to be able to help out. So please don't hesitate at contacting us for any concerns that you guys have at sga@pccc.edu. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Dalvin, and thank you all for coming today. We'll see you at the next town hall meeting. That's it. Thanks, guys.